This is a normal sim racing steering wheel, and this is a LEGO sim racing steering wheel, which I built to complete my fully functional LEGO sim racing setup. And in this video I will be showing you how I build it. So my idea is to have the controller on a platform like this, and then build a mechanism to connect a steering wheel to one of the joysticks. And then I think I will try to use these buttons for the gas and brake pedals. So let's get building. So I started with building a base around the controller to hold it in place, and then I built a mechanism to connect a steering wheel to one of the joysticks. So I've now built the steering mechanism, and it works by converting a rotating motion into a sideways motion using a gear rack. And I was also able to slightly angle the steering wheel using a universal joint, just like how it is on my real sim racing wheel. However, when testing it a bit, I realized that there was quite a lot of play in the mechanism because of the universal joint, so I think I will remove it. Now let's get back to building. So I've now finished the steering wheel part and I've removed the universal joint. However, the steering wheel still has some play in it, but it definitely is a lot less than it was before. And I've also added some pedal shifters and these other Technic beams, to which I plan to attach some ropes, which will then be attached to the gas and brake pedals. Now let's start working on the pedals. So my idea is to just use some plates and some shock absorbers to push the pedals back. The gas and brake pedals are now finished, and they are really simple actually. And I did use a stronger shock absorber on the brake pedal to try and make it a little bit more realistic. So now let's put everything together. So this doesn't really seem to work, so I think I will have to make some changes already. So I've now made the entire mechanism way more sturdy, and I've added another layer of plates here at the back. But I also had to remove the stronger shock absorber because that was causing a lot of trouble. And then I also added this platform here at the front where you can rest your feet. So everything is now put together, and I do realize that the steering wheel is quite small compared to the shifter, but I can't change the size of the steering wheel because these are the longest Technic beams that I have. And I also realized that to use a manual shifter you obviously need a clutch, which I kind of forgot to build. So I think I will have to build a clutch. I started with just building another pedal identical to the ones I built before. And then I had to think about how I would be connecting it to the controller, as I already used the two buttons with long travel for the gas and brake pedals. So I ended up connecting the clutch to the still unused joystick. I've now completely finished the entire sim racing setup out of LEGO, so let's test it. So I loaded up Forza Horizon 5 first, and unfortunately I still can't use the shifter I built a few months ago in this game, but I will test the wheel together with the shifter in a moment in BeamNG Drive. And I have to say that the entire setup actually works surprisingly well. And even though there still is quite a lot of play in the wheel, I am quite happy with the result. The pedals are relatively responsive and the pedal shifters work perfectly. And it is really fun to drive around in Forza, but it is a bit more difficult to control than a normal wheel. And now it's time to try the full setup in BeamNG Drive. So using the clutch and manual shifter together works quite nicely, and just like in Forza, everything else works pretty well as well. However, it obviously is nothing compared to a real sim racing setup, but considering I built the entire setup out of Lego and made it work, I do think I can say it's a success. And as you can probably guess, this will be the end for this series, because my Lego sim racing setup is now finished. But if you have any suggestions for future projects like this, then let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and if you liked this video, you might enjoy one of these videos as well.